Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to break down some Livescope footage. If you're interested in improving your Livescope game, this is one of the best ways to do it. All right, let's get into it. All right, here we are. We've got our crappie sitting at 30 feet out from the boat. He's pretty shallow. Bait's dropping at 34 feet, right over the top of him. We missed him that time. Looks like we were just to the right of him. Anyway, the bait's coming back in. Fish spooked just a little bit. He's moving out about the 38-foot mark right now. He's super shallow, 3 to 4 feet below the surface right here. I know we're fishing a little bit heavy with our rig right here, just trying to keep up with this fish, and trying to nail them when they're up that high is really, really tough. But we're going to do it. We're chasing that fish down. Boat's moving about 0.9 miles per hour right there. We missed on our second cast. Bait landed short at about 24 feet, and this fish is still moving. Trolling motors moving left and right, just trying to square up with this fish, and he stopped. Okay, we got a good stop right there. He stopped at 28 feet. Bait came down at 32. We're right over the top of him right now. Let's see. Oh, we got acknowledgement. Boom! Nailed it right there at the 20-foot mark. That was pretty darn good right there. I'm not gonna lie to you. That was well executed. It's a tough move to make, but well played, well played. Next clip, here we are with our fish at the 20 by 20 mark. Bait's dropping down at 24 feet out. Fish is sitting down about 20 foot deep, and 20 feet out in front of the boat is pretty deep. It's a good looking mark right there. It's a pretty good fish by my eyes. Bait's dropping pretty darn good. It's approaching right now. We just stopped it. We're gonna get that bait moving right over the top of the fish and just see how he responds to it. Here we go. We're getting really, really close right here. Fish is sitting about 18, 19 feet out from us. He acknowledges it right there, right away. Got that little wiggle, little shimmy, and he's tracking. He's moving right behind that bait, moving. That bait's moving pretty slow right there. That's a risky move. Bait's moving slow. Fish is tracking. He's wanting to nail it, but something's just not right. So, as expected, there he is. He turns off just like that. Hey, listen, those fish are in the water all the time. They know what's natural and what's not. That presentation was just a little too slow. In my opinion, that bait moved just a little bit too slow to get that fish to really react to it the way that they should react. And, you know, that happens sometimes. So that's a good note. Pay attention to that kind of stuff. All right, let's see what happens right here. So we've got a fish sitting at 24 feet out from us. He's 20 feet down, lone roamer out there. Actually, he's about 26 feet right there. A little bit longer cast, so we landed at the 34-foot mark. Bait is dropping at the 32-foot mark right now. It's a pretty good drop. It looks like it's in good alignment with the fish. We're holding the boat steady. We were still moving a little bit. Bait is right over the top of that fish. He just acknowledged it right now. He's stalking. He's definitely stalking. This is unique. You can tell we're fighting a little bit of wind here. Okay, that's a good image. Real good image right there. That fish is big and pretty. Really good return on that fish. Bait's looking good. He sees it. He's stalking just right at the 28-foot mark. Ooh, nailed it at the 28-foot mark. That was perfect. Picture perfect right there. Not much to improve on that one. That was well executed. Super great response to the bait by the fish. Great boat control there. Great bait control there as well. Can't beat that. Good stuff. We are with our next mark. This fish is sitting about 30 feet out from us, 10 foot below the surface, sitting all by his lonesome. That's a pretty good looking mark. Of course, we're zooming in right there, get a better image. Bait drops at about 29 feet. We're going to stop it just up above him, start rolling that bait, and he's already acknowledging that fish turns, and he's looking just right. I don't like that. That bait dropped just a little bit. That fish is stalking. He's stalking, but it's already a little bit weird just from that initial drop. We're losing imaging right there, but I know that fish is still tracking. Oh, that was a short strike at the 5-foot mark right in front of the boat. That fish bit, and we were unable to get him in the boat that time. That's a unique situation. It happens from time to time. Those fish will come right up to the nose of the boat, and they'll just kind of nip at the tail of that bait, and there's not a whole lot you can do there other than get ready to make another cast and get back in the game. Okay, here we go with another nice fish sitting at about 30 feet away from the boat. Bait's already in the water. It's coming down at 34-foot mark right now. The fish is 10 feet deep, and bait's approaching right now. Let's see how he responds to it. It's a pretty good look, and we're getting right over the top of him right now. Boat's at a complete stop. We're at 0.00 miles per hour. The fish acknowledges the bait. Excuse me there. And man, that's one of those deals where Okay, I'm going to pause this a brief second. So that's one of those unique situations where the bait actually got a little bit too low. The bait was eye level with the fish. And in my experience, typically when that happens, you can pretty much hang it up. When that bait gets down right about eye level with those fish, they just don't react to it the same way in most cases. Every once in a while, you'll get them when they're really, really aggressive and they'll go ahead and go for it. But typically, if that bait gets down that low, it's no good. And I think that's the case right here. This fish obviously starts tracking and turns off almost immediately. And we've still got the bait out in front of him, just trying to see if he will do it again. But he's not really showing any interest at all. That's very typical. I've seen that a bunch. So I'm sure at this point we're going to go ahead and get that bait back in the boat and just say, forget about that fish. You could drop another bait and see what happens, but typically just leave that fish alone. Right here we have a pair of fish sitting pretty shallow. They're about 6 feet down, 30 feet out from the boat, and bait's dropping at 37. That's a pretty good cast right there. We're right over the top of them. We're just going to roll that bait right across the top and see if they acknowledge it. There's an acknowledgement. We saw those tail fins move right there, and the first one strikes out, and then it looks like a miss on that one. He struck it but missed, and the second one is still following, and we got him right there. Oh wow, nailed him. Soft bite on that one. You can see how that fish moved super slowly. He grabbed it, and it wasn't a big turn, a big twist, or anything like that. Just a very subtle grab, and we're obviously start rolling that fish right in. That was pretty textbook right there. It's good stuff. All right, looks like we've got a wolf pack out here, about 4 fish grouped up together, 45 to 50 feet out. I'm sure we're going to zoom in on them right here just to get a little bit better image. Here we go, zoom in right there to about 50 feet on the forward range just so we can get a better picture. Definitely they got 4 fish total sitting there. They're super shallow. Those fish are only about 5 feet below the surface, over 25 foot of water. The boat's still in motion there. We got 0.4 miles per hour, 0.3 miles per hour. Bait's in the water. They're at the 40-foot mark, and we're rolling right across them. It's very faint, so we may be a little bit off to the side. No, we got a pretty good image right there. There it is. We got a fish tracking, and he's coming out. Let's see if he hits. He's at the 30-foot mark, and he turned right back around. That's a tricky one right there. Those fish are so shallow. It's really hard to get a bait on those fish, especially when you're fishing a little bit heavier like we're doing right now with the rig that we have set up. So that's really tricky to do, but we'll give them another shot. We still got them sitting put. They're not really running away from us. They're not spooked. So bait comes down again at 29-foot mark. We're going to stop right there, and fish comes up. Interested. That bait got a little bit low there. It's hard to see it, but you do this stuff enough and you can see kind of where that bait is in relation to those fish and how it rolls across them or through them in some cases, and it'll tell you a lot. In that case, we were right against those fish, right up beside them, and it's really hard to trigger those fish to bite when it's like that. You really want to keep that bait up above them. Here we come one more time at the 30-foot mark, and we've got a good return right there, good response. And man, they turned off almost immediately right there at the 25-foot mark. We had one fish looking at it, but he turned off pretty quickly there. Not a whole lot you can do. Don't sweat it. Just move on to the next group. Here we are. It looks like we've got 2 pretty nice fish sitting about 35 feet out from the boat. Boat's still in motion, 0.72 miles per hour. Bait's coming down already here at the 32-foot mark. Doesn't look like we're totally aligned with those fish. We're playing with the angle a little bit. They're already on the run. Here we go. We've got 1 fish on the run for sure, and looks like the boat's going to stay in motion right there as we try to track them down. They're both on the run. They're slowly making their way away from us. They're holding there about the 26 to 30-foot mark. We're trying to get that bait out in front of them. You see it coming down there at 32 feet. Kind of lost it there. Super faint. But we're trying to get that bait to them. Obviously, we missed on that one. Those fish are still in motion. They're out there about 32 feet, so I'm sure we're getting the bait back in, and we're going to try to take another shot. It's kind of like duck hunting right here. We want to lead those fish, get the bait out in front of them. Here we are dropping again at the 36-foot mark, 34-foot mark. That cast is too short, so we're going to get that thing right back in. Those fish are still rolling. We're at 0.9 miles per hour, 1.0 miles per hour right here. So we're really trying to keep up with these fish. They are running for cover. It's amazing. They're 15 feet below the surface, 35, 32, 34 feet out from us. There you go. I got to get that reading together. And there we go. We got a good lead on them right here. So we landed at the 40-foot mark, and they turned immediately. Both of them turned, and we missed a pike right there. Oh my goodness, we missed one. The second one is coming up behind it, and he turned off just the same right there. Both of those fish got away scotch-free that time. That's a horrible thing. You hate for that to happen, but it happens sometimes. That's the way it goes. There's a really good mark there at the 22-foot mark, 22 feet out from us. It's a long cast. Bait lands at 34. We're going to draw that bait back in. Fish is 22 feet out, and he's about 18 feet down. Bait's dropping cleanly there at the 24-foot mark, 25-foot mark. Bait's coming down. We've got a pretty good drop right there. Fish is sitting perfectly still. You can't ask for much more than that. We've got a good stop on the bait, right about 15, 16 feet, just up above them, and we're just going to roll that bait there, and no response. We're obviously left or right of that fish. We're just off center with that fish. The fish is giving us a great return, but the bait is not really showing up oh so great. So you can see that trolling motor head is the bottom. If you pay attention to the bottom, we've got some stumps there. That trolling motor head is moving left or right, just trying to get centered up on that fish so we can get a really good image of the fish and try to get our bait lined up pretty good here. Bait's coming down again at the 28-foot mark, and still not a great image on the fish. We reduced our down range right there just so we can get a better image. So we went down to 30-foot down range instead of the 40-foot that we had it at just before, and the bait is still not perfectly aligned. It looks like it's a little bit to the left of that fish, I'm going to say. On that one, it's kind of hard to say for sure without seeing the trolling motor head, but I'm gonna guess we're just to the left of that fish. So we're getting the bait right back in. Fish is holding still, boat's dead still, 0.0 miles per hour. So we're holding dead steady. Everything's nice and calm. We're not in a rush here. We're just trying to make sure we get a clean drop. Bait's coming down again at 26-foot mark, and we're gonna stop it right about here, and we're gonna start rolling that bait right across the top of that fish, just to see what happens. And let's see if we get an acknowledgement. No acknowledgement so far. So that's what, 3 casts we've made on that fish so far, and have not quite hit him just right yet. That's the way it goes sometimes. Sometimes it takes multiple casts to get a good drop on those fish, but no big deal. If you didn't react to it, you just get the bait right back in and you take another shot. So here we are. We're gonna make sure that we're nice and square with this fish and try to get a good read on them. It's sometimes those fish are facing towards the boat or even away from the boat, and it's hard to get a good hard return on them. What I mean by that is a bright return where you can really see that fish. Here we are dropping to 26 feet. We're coming right across them again. Same thing. The bait is just not quite landing on that fish the way we want it to. So we're going to roll it back in. So that's 1, 2, 3 casts for sure, 4 casts for sure, right onto that fish or close to that fish, and he still hasn't seen the bait yet. So we've got some bass, it looks like, rolling in. Maybe a few crappie there. They're actually moving pretty slow, it looks like crappie. But they're spread out more like bass to me, so I'm going to call those bass and ignore them. Anyway, we zoomed in on our image just a little bit more. We've moved our forward range down to 30 feet. Bait drops right about the 30-foot mark. We're drawing it in right here, so it'll fall at 24 feet because that fish is sitting at 22 feet forward of us. So we've got a pretty good line right here. I like this one a lot. It fades out just for a moment, but I actually like where this bait is. There it is. We got the fish and the bait both on the screen at the same time. Fish acknowledges the bait. Here we go at 20-foot mark. He's tracking. He is on it already. Now he's coming out pretty aggressively, and that bait's not quite moving fast enough. I want him to move just a little bit faster. Boom. No, he didn't hit. What the heck was happening right there? Okay, that fish came up. You know, that's one of those things where that bait actually needs to be moving just a little bit quicker, getting away from that fish. He's a predator. He wants to chase his prey down and kill it. He's an ambush predator, so you have to keep that in mind. Okay, it looks like we've found a little cluster of fish on a brush top. Pretty deep right here. You can see the particulates in the water down there, about 25 feet deep or so. But we've got a little cluster of fish on the brush top here. Bait's dropping. It's approaching right now, right about the 26-foot mark. It actually looks like our bait was twisted around the weight there. We popped it a loose, so the bait is approaching just just perfectly right now at the 22-foot mark, going right over the top of that little cluster of fish. And I'll tell you, those fish do not look very big to me at all. Those look like smaller fish, but they're interested. We're actually seeing some interest in the bait right here, and we missed one right there. That fish bit really, really quickly, right as we got over the top of them. But we missed that fish, so we're going to roll that bait back in pretty quickly and probably get another drop on them. We'll see what happens here. Those fish are only about 22 feet out from us, but they're down about 25 feet deep right now. So that's a tricky one. It takes a little while to get that bait down there. We're fishing relatively, I'd consider it mid-weight. So we've got about a 16th ounce jig on there with an 1/8 ounce egg sinker to help us get down. And it's a perfect cast right here. Bait drops at the 28-foot mark. We're going to roll that bait right across the top of those fish and see what happens. We're going to stop it right here, guaranteed right here. Okay, that's perfect. That's really, really good drop right here. So the bait is sitting just outside of those fish and right where they can see it. And we're already seeing some interest here, really close. Oh, whoa, whoa, big strike right there. That's a good fish. I'll be honest with you, I did not see that fish right there. But that was a really good fish that came out and absolutely nailed that bait. So that is cool stuff. That is really, really cool stuff right there. Sometimes right in the midst of those little fish, you'll find something really, really special. Not always, but every once in a while, you'll find a really, really good fish. And I think that was the case with this one. That looked like that fish is still fighting at the 16-foot mark at the surface. That is a really, really good fish. And that's why we do this stuff. We go back and look at this footage just to see if there's anything we can improve on, anything that we may have missed while we're on the water. You can kind of get one-track minded out there. It's easy to get so locked in on what you're doing that you miss some detail. So going back and reviewing your footage sometimes can really help you improve your game and train your eyes to look for other things when you're out on the water. So if you like this kind of footage, make sure you stay tuned and leave a comment below. Subscribe to the channel and let me know if you have any questions. All right, we'll see you next time.